there, this is the Sherlock Brew Podcast series brought to you by SherlockSuperCoach.AI. On the show, you'll find actionable insights and bite-sized conversations with HR and business leaders on topics that provoke thoughts and new paradigms to better understand and develop Gen Z and young millennials on your team. We'll help you look at new possibilities and gain perspectives to level up young professionals and help them surge ahead on your team.
You know, Faye, what you just said helps me segue into this whole opportunity that lies out there to coach the Gen Zers. Most people feel or believe that Gen Zers are not coachable. And of course, to scale coaching could be expensive. Many organizations are investing money on their leaders and managers and not the population or not the masses, so to say. Right now there's a great opportunity, and I think I reinforced this point a little while ago. Coaching is the way to go. You're right, it's not about getting more off the plate. Okay, you get a sense of what one could, just a little conversation, Faye, with a person who is overwhelmed, a conversation, a coaching conversation, which could be provocative in terms of provoking new thoughts, novel thoughts in the Gen Zer by asking some quality questions. Actually, Faye makes a significant contribution in de stressing Gen Zers who are distressed. Yeah, does that kind of answer your question?
Yes, it does. In fact, we haven't talked about Sherlock Super Coach AI this entire conversation, but I
Yeah.
do want to add my own reflection as a very young consultant, the age of 22, 23, working in consulting here in Boston, Massachusetts. I was facing where I had to deal with a lot of these issues on my own for the very first time. And it would have been really helpful to have an app in my pocket. Granted, we didn't all have smartphones, in those days. So it was necessary, for instance, for my supervisor, for my mentor to call me up. And the company did ask for that. But
Yeah.
guess what? You're relying on talking to one another. They're also busy, they're director level folks. So a lot of the times the phone calls just didn't happen. Neither one of us were available. And I think if you could maybe talk about the timeliness and the convenience of having Sherlock Super Coach will be really interesting here.
Oh, Faye, you said we haven't spoken about Sherlock. Guess what? I mean, we talk about Sherlock 24/7 in our
Mm,
organization. I mean, we are dreaming Sherlock all the time. We are very excited. In all my experience of 20 years and about 9,000 hours of coaching under my belt, it's really simple. In coaching, a coach doesn't need to boil the ocean. We assume that the individual being coached is intelligent, is resourceful. So, for that, just some good quality trigger questions which could provoke a person to think and reflect and then take action. So Sherlock does that. It's pretty simple. It understands the context and actually unpacks the context, which is quite different from the presenting issue, right? People
mm,
may say and come up and say, "Hey, yeah, this is the problem I have. My boss is very averse to innovation or taking risk." That's the presenting issue, really. A little deep diving and digging a little deeper with good questions
mm,
actually unravels the real issue. And the real issue mostly lies with the coachee. It's not external, it's mostly internal. And
mhm,
we were doing a group workshop, Ari, but these were for senior leaders. Just about last week, Faye, I was doing a group workshop for one of the leading global fashion clothes maker, right? Women, ladies, high-end fashion makers, right? There's a global organization, so we were working with a bunch of the leaders. And while we were doing this is exactly where we took them in terms of what really matters to them. And just some questions like, okay, is this the best you got? So we asked a question, is this the best you have? We asked each individual. Each one nodded their head. They said, no, we've never asked or considered that question. Actually, when we think about it, this is not the best we have. We can do more than this. The next follow up question, what will make you do that then? Or what's stopping you? Now, Faye, we left it there. We didn't have to unpack the whole piece, but this
mhm,
was enough for these people to A, realize actually this is not the best we have in terms of our knowledge, skill, creativity. We have way more. The point is, we are not demonstrating it, and why? That's it. Now they
Mhm.
figure out they are generative, they generate their own thoughts. You getting the picture, Faye? What I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the best coaching experiences I've had, whether with a coach, with a person, or some of the best coaching
Mhm.
apps I've experienced
Yeah.
are the ones that are prompting me to, with good questions,
Yeah.
really enabling me to think independently on my own. Now, that's a process, it doesn't always
Yeah.
happen overnight, but it's really interesting. As you mentioned, from what I experienced with Sherlock Super Coach, is that it's prompting me with really good questions that allows me and gives me room to think. So thank you so much for sharing that.
No worries. And just to add to that, Faye, another piece is that Sherlock kind of puts a spotlight on clarity of purpose. What that means is it enables a person through a very deep coaching conversation to at least go and understand and discover, get a good sense of what really is their purpose, to find more meaning in what they do. Now, once a person really understands, hey, why are they doing what they are doing? Who are they doing it for? Now that changes the game, Faye, for the person. Then a person, once they put this in the muscle, once they kind of know, manifests in them their purpose, they respond to external events, whether it's
Mhm.
bosses pushing back, or there is conflicts happening in the organization, or what have you. There are many things that continue to happen in organization dynamically. Now, with a good sense of purpose, they react and respond very differently to the same events, right? Now
Mhm.
that's where Sherlock takes them. Just for you to share, how excited are we with all of this happening?
For sure. I think one example, one feature that I really like about Sherlock, to add on what you just said, is about reframing. Like you said, you may
Yeah.
be in a conflict with anybody, people with different modalities, people
Mhm.
with very different approaches. So, having a book or having just one thing to say, exactly to say this, sometimes isn't good enough. That you have to think, as a young person, understand that other people are truly different than you are. I do like the reframing coaching methodologies that allows me to see things differently, even though it's still through my own eyes, and that's very empowering.
Yeah, the making of Sherlock was not as simple as writing conversations on a piece of paper. We actually first wanted a proof of concept before going ahead with it. This was 2 years ago. And we got a bunch of 50 employees. These are Gen Zers from various
Mhm.
organizations. And in 20 minutes, we just said, we'll coach you in 20 minutes, no human in the loop. It was me and another partner sitting behind the computer. And just on chat, they came with an issue. And in 20 minutes, and that's it, flat 20 minutes, wherever they were in 20 minutes, we stopped in 20 minutes. We didn't take it further. And after that, we took a survey of feedback. 89% of those people moved. And they said some of the issues they brought to the table, they were holding on for 2 or 3 years. And
Mhm.
they finally realized how much this impacted them emotionally and mentally, just to hold on to these issues and
Mhm.
avoid exploring to resolve these issues. And
Mhm.
they went back with action. That was the genesis of Sherlock. So we established that, of course, people can easily be coached and we don't need to boil the ocean. Just some trigger questions, provoke them to think, multiple perspectives, different angles, different views, and there you go. You have a person, boom, ready to take action.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you find it helpful, please share it with a friend, a colleague, or maybe your employer. And to learn more about SherlockSuperCoach.AI, I just set the URL, which is SherlockSuperCoach.AI, our beta program, contact information, and the way we think are all on the website. And absolutely look forward to hearing from you. That's it. That concludes today's conversation. We'll see you next time.